Here are today's headlines. Former President Fidel Ramos calls on Filipinos to live the values learned from the 1986 People Power Revolution. Malacanang welcomes the arrest of the suspects in the murder of OFW Joanna DEMAFELIS in Kuwait. Gilas Pilipinas beats Japan and secures a chance to advance at the FIBA World Cup qualifiers. And over 1 million spectators watch this year's PANAGBENGA street dancing and float parades. Good day, I'm William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. One of the central figures in the historic 1986 EDSA revolution called on the government and the public to value the lessons of people power. Here is our report.
Former President Fidel V. Ramos reminded Filipinos that while attaining democracy was achieved during the 1986 EDSA People Power Revolution, change does not end with it. The former chief executive said both citizens and government leaders must firmly instill the values of solidarity and unity which the revolution espoused. Ramos added that a better future for Filipinos is a goal that must be done by coming administrations. Joey Concepcion, Presidential Advisor for Economic Enterprise, shared this sentiment, saying every Filipino must achieve prosperity by living in an inclusive economy. Concepcion stressed that democracy is not fulfilled if prosperity is achieved by only a few. During the commemoration, Ramos participated in the symbolic reenactment of the salubungan of the military and the civilians in EDSA. In a related development, the Armed Forces of the Philippines received the EDSA People Power Commission Award for its role in quelling terrorists in the Marawi siege. PO3 Christopher Lalan, survivor of the Mama Zapano carnage, likewise received the same award on behalf of his Special Action Force 44 comrades. The Spirit of EDSA Foundation and Good Citizenship Award was posthumously given to Melvin Gaa, who died saving 83 people from the fire that razed the NCCC Mall in Davao last December. Meanwhile, President Duterte called on all Filipinos to remember the People Power Revolution as an enduring symbol to fight for what is right. He also urged everyone to unite to further enrich democracy by empowering the citizenry, defending their rights, and strengthening the institutions that safeguard their freedoms. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cave.
The symbolic People Power Monument was officially turned over from the Spirit of EDSA Foundation to the National Historical Commission of the Philippines. Under the executive order signed by President Rodrigo Duterte last November 2017, the NHCP assumed the management of the monument, ensuring its continued maintenance and upkeep. The functions of the EDSA People Power Commission have also been integrated with the NHCP, but the planning, organizing, and implementation of activities to commemorate the annual 1986 EDSA revolution, however, remains with the EPPC. Last February 12, the NHCP tapped German company Karcher to conduct a restorative cleaning project at the EDSA People Power Monument. The People Power Monument, sculpture designed by Eduardo Castrillo to commemorate the 1986 People Power Revolution, which toppled the Marcos regime, opened in 1993 and was since maintained by the foundation at no cost to the government until 2017. Over 1,000 job seekers trooped to the Department of Labor and Employment's Trabajo, Negosyo, Kabuhayan Job and Business Fair in Quezon City. The job fair was held in line with the country's commemoration of the 32nd anniversary of the EDSA People Power Revolution. About 16,000 local and overseas job opportunities in Australia, New Zealand, Qatar, and United Arab Emirates were available to qualified participants. In a related development, the Department of Labor and Employment also distributed 23 integrated DOLE OFW cards so that OFWs can now make speedy transactions with agencies as they can now access government services online through the iDole e-services. Cordillera leaders approved the 6-year development investment plan in line with the administration's agenda. The region will set aside over 200 billion pesos to invest in government projects and services. Here is our report.
Governors, regional directors, and sectoral representatives who comprise the Cordillera Regional Development Council have approved the Regional Development Investment Program, or RDIP, for 2017-2022, which when fully implemented will further improve the economic condition of the region. The plan contains priority programs and projects to be implemented by regional line agencies, local government units, state universities and colleges, and other government offices in the region, designed to complement President Rodrigo Duterte's 10-point socio-economic agenda. NEDA Regional Director Milagros Rimando said they conducted enhancement workshops for LGUs to repackage their projects to increase project cost. She also said that the budget has been increased from 175 billion pesos to 225 billion pesos. The RDIP is a listing of the region's priority projects from combined plans and programs of the line agencies, SUCs, LGUs, and others, such as social development, infrastructure, and environment. The bulk of the fund will go to the regional budget, getting 54 billion pesos, followed by Benguet and Kalinga, which both get 33 billion pesos. Apayao, identified as one of the poorest provinces in the country, gets 32 billion pesos, while Baguio, the center of the region, gets 20 billion pesos. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Chris Mundo.
The wife of Jamaah Islamiyah bomber Marwan and 4 others were arrested in joint PNP-AFP operations at Tubod, Lanao del Norte. Police Regional Office 10 spokesperson Superintendent Lemuel Gonda said the operation was conducted by virtue of a search warrant against Jumome Pindoy Dongon. The operation also resulted in the arrest of Dongon's companion Lori Lee Dongon Ata, Juromi's sister, and her husband SPO4 Andy Ascali Ata. Authorities confiscated components for making explosive devices, gadgets, firearms, and ammunition. The parents of Dongon, identified as Romeo Aburrido Dongon alias Faisal and Norain Dongon Santos, were also arrested in an earlier operation in Baroy, Lanao del Norte. The suspects are facing criminal charges for illegal possession of firearms and explosives. Still to come, Malacanang welcomes the arrest of the suspects in the murder of OFW Joanna DEMAFELIS in Kuwait. Gilas Pilipinas beats Japan and secures a chance to advance at the FIBA World Cup qualifiers. These and more when the PNA Newsroom continues.
Ulat sa ginagawa ng presidente.
February 19, Lunes, Manila Hotel. Sa ginanap na 10th Biennial National Convention at 20th founding anniversary ng Chinese-Filipino Business Club, pinasalamatan ni Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte ang Chinese government sa pagtulong nito sa bawat krisis na dumadagok sa Pilipinas.
I'd like to thank the Filipino-Chinese, especially community, for their untiring toil to help the entire nation in the so many catastrophes and crises we had faced in the past.
May saloobin din ng Pangulo sa issue ng West Philippine Sea.
In front of the ambassador, I tell you, we will insist. But what could be the components of our demands and our insistence? Well, we can only be diplomatic. We can only be talking on friendly and civilized terms. We cannot go there, ride in our whatever, Navy, the gray ships, the Coast Guard, and start waving our rifles. We cannot do that today. It is unrealistic. It cannot be true.
February 20, Martes, Malacanang. Nag-courtesy call sa Pangulo ang U.S.-Philippine Society, isang non-profit, non-partisan at independent organization na layong mapalalim ang unawaan ng dalawang bansa Pangako ng panghihikayat ang tinuran ni Pangulong Duterte sa induction ceremony ng Board of Directors ng Federation of Indian Chamber of Commerce Philippines.
As much as possible, we want you to be comfortable. There's an ease of doing business, and I am here, your president, and I'm telling you, I would want to cut red tape.
February 21, Miyerkules, Malacanang. Malugod na tinanggap ni Pangulong Duterte ang Philippine at Japanese conglomerates. Siniguro ng Pangulo sa business leaders na tutulungan sila ng gobyerno sa maayos nilang pagnegosyo sa bansa. Nakipagpulong din ng Chief Executive sa mga pinuno ng militar at iba't ibang law enforcement bodies ng Pilipinas. Sinaluhan ng Pangulo sa merienda ang ikalawang batch na rebel returnees mula sa NPA. Salo-salo sa unang hakbang nila na makabalik na sa malayang lipunan. Ito ang Duterte on duty. Abangan sa susunod na linggo ang mga gagawin ng Pangulo.
Authorities announced the arrest of the suspects in the murder of overseas Filipino worker Joanna DEMAFELIS in Kuwait over the weekend. However, the president has yet to decide on whether the deployment ban to Kuwait stays following the arrests. Here is our report.
Nader Essam Asaf, a Lebanese national, and his Syrian wife Mona Hassoun are now in the custody of Lebanese authorities after an intense Interpol manhunt. The two are the primary suspects in the murder of OFW Joanna DEMAFELIS, whose body was found inside a freezer in an abandoned apartment in Kuwait earlier this month. Foreign Affairs Secretary Alan Peter Cayetano assured that with the two suspects now arrested, the DFA and the Department of Labor and Employment will vigorously pursue justice for DEMAFELIS. Malacanang welcomed Asaf's arrest on the same day President Rodrigo Duterte visited DEMAFELIS' wake in her home province in Iloilo. Duterte assured the family that the government will seek justice for her and other OFWs abused by their employers abroad. In a text message to reporters, presidential spokesperson Harry Roque also said he hopes that the suspects would also be punished for DEMAFELIS' torture and murder. Roque said President Duterte had also asked the National Bureau of Investigation to summon DEMAFELIS' recruiters. In a related development, Dole said that the decision whether or not to lift the ban on the deployment of OFWs to Kuwait is up to the President. Labor Secretary Silvestre Bello III said they would wait for the action of the Kuwaiti government regarding the matter. Kuwait is expected to sign the Memorandum of Understanding for the protection of OFWs. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Bench Bondo.
PDEA Director General Aaron Aquino introduced the Balay Silangan, a drug reformation program that offers temporary refuge aimed at reforming drug offenders. Balay Silangan will offer general interventions like continuing education and health awareness, counseling, and values formation. Livelihood and skills training programs will also be provided to give reformers employment opportunities. Aquino said surrenderers who wish to apply for the program must not belong to the target list, wanted list, and watch list, or any other pending cases. Meanwhile, those who availed of the plea bargaining agreement or convicted under the Dangerous Drugs Act and are required to undergo rehabilitation, and those who serve jail terms will also be admitted. All drug reformation facilities will be located in either PNP or AFP's camps under the supervision of the Regional Oversight Committee. Telecommunications giant PLDT is set to open ePLDT's 10th Vitro data center in Cebu in April. The expansion is in line with the company's initiative to upgrade and provide data centers that would serve the needs of businesses and government agencies in key areas around the country. The facility, which will be launched by the second quarter of 2018, is the second data center in Cebu. The Vitro network of data centers utilizes software-defined networking, which allows it to deploy requisite and robust connectivity across different sites without having to worry about online threats. EPLDT President and CEO Eric Alberto said the use of data center services in operations and business continuity plans will boost businesses in Visayas and Mindanao. The new facility will provide additional 800 racks capacity to complement PLDT's racks in different locations, which include Pasig, Cebu, Parañaque, Taguig, Subic, Clark, Davao, and Makati. Government troops captured a ranking member of the New People's Army in a joint police and military operation in Barangay Villalangit, Sibagat, Agusan del Sur. The Eastern Mindanao Command reported that Pablito Campos, Front Secretary of the Guerrilla Front 21A, was captured by Sibagat Police and troops from the 3rd Special Forces Battalion. Campos, who has 8 standing warrants for murder, kidnapping, and rebellion, is accused as one of the rebels involved in the failed ambush of Sibagat police personnel in July last year, was reportedly part of the NPA's propagandist group and heads the NPA unit's extortion and abduction activities. 401st IB Commander Colonel Andres Centino meanwhile said the capture of Campos shows that security forces adhere to the rule of law and human rights. Jason Castro saved the day for Gilas Pilipinas as they beat Japan to advance in the FIBA World Cup qualifiers. Here is our report.
Gilas Pilipinas advanced in the FIBA World Cup qualifiers after beating Japan 89-84 at the SM Mall of Asia Arena. Jason Castro sank the game-saving basket to push back the Akatsuki 5 with 10 seconds remaining. The Filipinos were ahead midway at the 4th quarter after a slow start, but Japan made a comeback and trimmed Gilas' lead until 31 seconds to the end. Castro then made the shot that gave Gilas a 4-point lead, followed by a rebound and an extra throw by Andre Blash. Blash, who finished with 18 points, 16 rebounds, and 4 assists to lead Gilas, while point guard Makoto Hejima led Japan with 23 points. Apart from his winning shot, Castro collected 8 points. Coach Chot Reyes says they expect to struggle against Japan after flying all the way from Australia, where they lost to the Boomers on Thursday, 84-86. Gilas now has 3 wins and 1 loss in Group B, with a spot in the second phase of the qualifiers. The next set of qualifying games will be on June 29 when Gilas travels to Chinese Taipei and on July 2 when the Philippines hosts Australia. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Rom Dulfo.
Up next, over 1 million spectators watch this year's Panagbenga street dancing and float parades. These and more when the PNA Newsroom returns.
Droga? Nakakasira ng buhay yan.
Dahil sa pagkakakulong ko, nilayuan ko ang asawa ko hanggang sa magkahiwalay kami.
Hello? Muna ako kamalain! Ito!
Naging violente ako hanggang natanggal ako sa trabaho ko.
Matagal pa ba? Muna nga! Hindi na ka pa eh! Muna nga muna kayo! Hoy! Di ba ako narinig?
Napraning ako hanggang halos tapusin ko na ang buhay ko.
Yan ang buhay ko. Muntik nang masira dahil sa droga. Susubukan mo pa ba?
Rehabilitation, rehabilitating the nation together.
Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte Carpio has endorsed two female senatorial candidates for the senator whom she deemed competent to serve the public. The president's daughter urged overseas Filipino workers to vote for Presidential Communications Operations Office Assistant Secretary Mocha Uson and Deputy Speaker of the House of the Representatives Pia Cayetano. In a tapang at malasakit activity in Hong Kong, Duterte Carpio said her family comes first, which is why she is not running for the Senate. In a Facebook post, Uson thanked the president's daughter for considering her for the Senate post, but stressed that she has no senatorial plans as of now. House Speaker and PDP Laban Secretary General Pantaleon Alvarez earlier included Uson in the party's senatorial slate for the 2019 elections. Alvarez also floated the names of presidential spokesperson Harry Roque, Davao City Representative Carlo Nograles, and Bataan Representative Geraldine Romay. An arms cache belonging to communist terrorists was discovered by government troops in Compostela Valley. The caches contain 6 high-powered firearms, 5 improvised explosive devices, 6 loaded magazines, and other war material. The caches were revealed by the 66th Infantry Battalion by surrendering members of the New People's Army because of low morale and pressure on the rebels has led to the surrender of some of their members. The 66 IB also cited the implementation of the Community Support Valley for bringing the gap between the government and communities and weakening the influence of the NPA. Lieutenant Colonel Palmer M. Parungao, commanding officer of the 66 IB, commended the troops for their efforts in defeating the enemies in the area. Meanwhile, 10th Infantry Division Commander Major General Noel Clement thanked LGUs for their support and assured the communities of its continuing efforts to fight any threat. Danny Florencio, one of the Philippine Basketball Association's all-time elite scorers, passed away on Saturday in San Francisco, California at the age of 70. Florencio, also called Daredevil Danny and the original Skywalker, became well-known during the 70s for his hang-time moves and mid-range jumpers. The 5'10" former UST King Goldie starred for YCO and CRISPA in the Manila Industrial and Commercial Athletic Association and became one of the holdovers of UTEX, which went directly into the PBA in 1975. His best moment came in 1977 when he dropped 64 points for 7-up against Toyota, which stood as the most scored by a local player until 1989. Florencio was acquired by Toyota the following year to backstop the team's big three of Mon Fernandez, Robert Jaworski, and Francis Arnaiz. Florencio retired in 1983 and was named among the 40 greatest players in PBA history. He was inducted to the PBA Hall of Fame in 2007. Locals and tourists in Baguio celebrated the weekend with a Panagbenga street dancing and float parades. The highlight of the month-long flower festival drew over 1 million spectators with their creative routines and designs made of fresh flowers. Here is our report.
Around 1.2 million viewers trooped to the Central Business District for the 2-day grand parade of the 23rd Baguio Flower Festival or Panagbenga. The 4-kilometer parade route started from the Panagbenga Park at the military cutoff and ended at the Athletic Bowl in Burnham Park. A total of 23 floats made of 90% fresh flowers and ornamental plants amazed the crowd that watched the grand float parade that lasted for almost 3 hours. The float parade is the most awaited and the biggest crowd-drawing event of the month-long celebration of Panagbenga and usually brings in hundreds of thousands of tourists to the city. Baguio's oldest school, Baguio Central School, and the University of the Cordilleras High School Street Dancers Ensemble each bagged the grand prize. St. Louis University garnered the top place in the open division. The 23rd Panagbenga carries the theme, Celebration of Culture and Creativity and the city's inclusion in the UNESCO Creative Cities list. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Pamela Marie Ziminiano.
Let's now check out the weather forecast for Metro Manila and the rest of the country. Here's another look at today's headlines. Former President Fidel Ramos calls on Filipinos to live the values learned from the 1986 People Power Revolution. Malacanang welcomes the arrest of the suspects in the murder of OFW Joanna DEMAFELIS in Kuwait. Gilas Pilipinas beats Japan and secures a chance to advance at the FIBA World Cup qualifiers. And over 1 million spectators watch this year's Panagbenga street dancing and float parades. Thank you for watching another episode of the PNA Newsroom. To check out these and other stories, visit the PNA website or follow the Philippine News Agency on Facebook and Twitter. For more stories about the government and all that it is doing for the Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. And before we go, think about this. Remember, if you love your job, you will never feel like you're working a day in your life. So let's inject passion in everything we do. And that's your daily dose of the hottest news and the latest information that you need to know from the PNA Newsroom. I'm William Theo. Good day.